Hi everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and install the Berger Motorsports cold air intake. This model is listed on the website as being for the X2. I see that here, or for the transverse mounted B48 engines. So we're gonna see if this fits. According to Berger, and actually according to the forums, the sensor itself is different, but everything else looks visually identical to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. So the first step here is gonna be that we're gonna go ahead and remove this sensor, and we're actually just gonna go ahead and check that sensor and see if it fits in the replacement, basically little receptacle there. So give me a second, let's go ahead and do this part. Okay, so we removed these torque screws. These are these are T20s. So once we remove this, okay, so we see that we have a square hole, okay, and I believe that the other sensor had a different hole. This is also a square hole. So let's go ahead and check this out. Let's see if this fits. It looks like a recessed square hole, just the same. Okay, so far looking good. I see everything fits. It actually slots right into the hole, almost like it's made for it. So yeah, this looks good. So let's go ahead and proceed then with the install. So the first thing we're gonna have to do here is pop out the airbox. So in order to do that, you see you have these clips all around here. So just kind of pull this back here. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Do the same with this one. It sound a little worse than it is, but just carefully pop those back. Another one back here. Let's see if this is starting to wiggle out here. Yep. Okay, it looks like there's another one right here, and I think you have to pull this little silicone sleeve off. It kind of grabs on right up here. Just gonna kind of wiggle it over that. Okay, and there we go. Popped right off there for us. And there we go. Another clip back there. So we'll do the same with this clip back here. Get a little pry tool to make our lives easier, and then let's also get a flat head to get that off. Okay, so this back one was a little bit stubborn back here. I ended up using a pry tool, and with a little bit of force it finally popped up. I did go ahead and just pop the engine cover off. I didn't remove it all together because we got this bar over here, but enough room to just kind of work myself around it here. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. Being careful, obviously, you don't want to mess with these sensors too much. So and so the next step is just going to be to go ahead and basically loosen this right here. You are going to want to loosen that quite a bit because you want to make sure this totally gets loose, so that we have no issue pulling the top of this airbox off right here. Okay. All right, so that's pretty loose there. You can see I already kind of popped this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and keep going. Just want to make sure that these don't pop back into place. Okay, so to pull this off, we just did some twisting, some tugging, and then you can see we are out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and assemble this one with everything we need. And also let's go ahead and place the bracket that's actually going to hold this thing in place. And just before that, here you can take a look what the bottom of the airbox looks like. So it is actually going to sit over this. You can actually see that this has some piping that goes out to the front, where you actually have an air, you actually have air coming in, which is good, to help things breathe. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the bracketry done. You see we got the old top of the airbox out and filter. All right, so this is the first place I'm seeing that this may not be exactly made for this model. Looks like the way that the airbox is held on this model is a little different. But believe it or not, their suggested installation instructions are to zip tie basically this billet bracket down here that secures, you can see here, to the bottom of this, just with a zip tie through this plastic piece. So I'm gonna use some zip ties. It's just gonna sit, I think, in a slightly different location, but should be fine. There's nothing, really no risk here. You can see everything else kind of fits. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this down, put these screws in here, and see if we can go ahead and zip tie this, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so what I ended up doing here is I just went ahead and ran, you can see a small zip tie through that second hole right here. And I just basically tied it around this thing. It shouldn't be going up and down pretty much. This thing should hold it in place. I only had these small zip ties at home today, so I just strung 2 of them together. I don't think we should be getting too terrible heat right in this location, so I think it'll hold. Can always revise that later. See, everything is sitting nice and tight in here. Nothing's going anywhere. Engine bay is back on, so let's go ahead and put the filter on and we will be all done. All right, so we've got the pod filter here, as you can see. And so basically this is just gonna slide here and then it'll be tightened. I know I've seen some people put, you know, the V-band kind of at the bottom to hide it a little bit. I'm not particularly worried about somebody seeing that, so I'm just gonna slide that in here. In theory, you want it to sit as flush as possible with that, with this piece here. So let me go ahead and maneuver this little, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so you can see here how we kind of ended up doing this. It's pushed all the way in. You do want to check that all the way around, make sure it's nice. It's got a nice seal. I did kind of rub up against this corner here a little bit, so just keep that in mind. You may want to turn this or something to, you know, if you'd like to avoid that. Not a huge deal. So yeah, everything is good, buttoned up here. I'm gonna go ahead and close the hood, make sure everything closes. We don't have anything rubbing or anything, but I don't think we should. No, I think we should be good. And yeah, and then we'll do a little sound test for you.